Gravel Worlds is actually one of the longest race of the year. It's just under 250 kilometers. For those interested, my average power was 275 and my average heart rate was 161. As you can see, the heart rate is pretty high, especially towards the end of the race. Not just because the pace was a little bit higher with 284 watts average, but mostly because the temperature was very hot towards the end. So as you can see in the graph, at midpoint of the race, it was approximately 25, but it got up to 37. So the heart rate goes up very high when the temperature are that high. If we go here at the statistic, we can see that the intensity factor was 0.809. That's super high for me. Everything over 0.8 means that I was really on the verge of exploding. TSS is 453. Again, super high, especially that TSS are gauged according to watts, and watts in high heat are lower normally, so the actual impact on your body is even higher than 453 TSS. And calorie burn is 7,734 calorie. So yeah, crazy high. So just for the race description, if you're interested, honestly, I would suggest just go see the live stream on YouTube. It was super well filmed, like a professional road race. They did an amazing job of filming the full pro race for the men and women. So if you want to have an in-depth look at what happened, you can go see the full recap on YouTube on the Gravel Worlds channel. But for now, I just want to give you a quick 2-minute overview of how the race played out. So we started super early. The start was at 5:55 a.m. So the start is in complete darkness, so you have to be crazy careful. It was especially dangerous because normally when you race in the dark, you have some light. So most races that are in the dark are Criterium and you have the light of the city, but out on gravel you have zero light, so it was pretty sketchy. But I would say that all the riders were pretty respectful and we gave each other extra space because of the lack of vision out there. So then at 7:30 we can finally see, we witness a super beautiful sunrise, and from now on the racing is really on. At the start of the race, I was super clear of who I wanted to follow. That's an old trick from the road. So being super selective, selectioning one or two rider, you're not gonna let go, and being okay with letting go everybody else. So I had two riders in particular in mind. So I was just following those riders, letting everybody else go up the road if they wanted to. And at 9 a.m. the break was finally established with 5 riders in the break, and I was okay with those 5 riders being off the front. And around that time you hit the first speed zone. Most people decided to go through, but I decided to stop for like 20 to 30 seconds to fill up an extra bottle, and that was super helpful. So not too long after that feed zone, at about 9:30 a.m., that's when a super strong group went up the road with some guys I didn't want to have separation with. So I had to do a crazy hard bridge. It was my error. I was too far off the back, but at least I was able to put off a near maximum 5 minutes to bridge up. And when I did that bridge, pretty much at the exact moment, like 10 seconds after, there was a crossing, and that's where the accident happened. I didn't see really clearly what happened, but just after that we decided to neutralize the race just to figure out what exactly had happened. Luckily, nobody was hurt, but it was a super close call. So one of the guy got his bike run off by a car that didn't do his stop sign. So we were not actually in the wrong. It was the other two cars. But yeah, after I would say 10 or 15 minutes of soft pedaling, we decided to start racing again. And now the break had more than 6 minutes. So we really had to make a move. And that deciding move happened when Pete Stetina went up the front with Eno and two other guys. And the only two guys that were able to bridge to them were me and Simon. And from now on, we dropped two guys, and it was myself, Simon, Pete, and Eno. And we were able to bridge up to the front breakaway. That took everything out of me, to be honest. It was 90 minutes all out chasing, and during that time the temperature went off to over 30, so over 90 Fahrenheit. And when we made the bridge to the breakaway, I think everybody was super tired, including the guys in the breakaway. And the funny part is that we literally caught them just before the last feed zone. So we decided to all stop. At this point, you're about 60K from the finish. And honestly, I think everybody was pretty much out of water. So we all stopped and decided to take 30 seconds to fill up water. So right after the feed zone, we were now a group of 8. So 4 riders from the breakaway and the 4 of us that bridge. And then attack were flying, and I finally find myself at the front with Eno and Simon. Everybody else was dropped, and we kind of, I don't know, rolled together pretty smoothly, but the heat just got the best of me. They were trying to attack me, but honestly in my head I was like, you don't really need to play strategic right now. If you just attack 100% or not even like 80%, I'm not gonna be there anymore. And that's eventually what happened. They both were able to distance me at like 5K from the finish, and they sprinted for the win, and Simon took it, crossed the line just after, and I was like 30 seconds after. Honestly, it took me like 45 minutes to be back to myself. I got checked by the ambulance. I think it was clearly heat exhaustion, but luckily I didn't have anything serious. And as usual, fast forward to the end of the day, it was champagne shower for the last finisher. So we all did the champagne for the last guy that was able to finish the 150 miles right after podium. So now